Hey everybody, Goat here. Welcome back to Goat and Hogs Guides on Diablo 3. In this one we're going to go ahead and cover a couple of the advanced stats that you'll see in the game. Things that you want to start paying attention to as you get farther in the game that are more than just the strength and int and dexterity and vitality on things. And why they're important is another part that's covered in here. So we have my mage here, and I'm still working on some of the gear for the mage, but if we go ahead and head into the character details by bringing up the inventory here and then hitting the X button, you'll see that if we scroll down here, the attacks per second. Now, attacks per second are actually really important because it's going to be, kind of obviously here, how often you get to attack every second. The higher number that is there, the more shots you get off, or the more spells you can cast, or whatnot. Now, why that's important is for two reasons. One is the more times you can actually cast the spell, of course, the more times you can go fishing for critical hits, or to get the skill to deal damage. Now, generally speaking, things that do have a higher attacks per second will have a lower overall damage to try to balance them out. But let me give you an example of this. You see it's 196 here, and that's with my, I am using a one-handed weapon and a focus. So I'll just go ahead and you see, I'm just holding the button down. That is as fast as that skill will cycle. So that's pretty handy, and I can cast, these energy twisters pretty darn fast. That is one of the main things you want to do if you're doing a critical mass build on a wizard because you are fishing for critical hits and you want to get as many different things out there as you can. Because every time a critical hit happens, it allows your timers to tick down faster on your different skills that are on cooldown. Now, I'm not set up for that, but that's just an example. So if I go ahead and go to my inventory and I change over to this Scorn, this is a Scorn I found with the wizard, and it is a int-based Scorn. And if we go to the stats now, my attacks per second have gone down to 127. Doesn't sound like a big difference, but if I hold down A here, you can see it is noticeable. It is slower, it isn't happening as fast, I can't cast these as fast, but what that's important about that is, that means I can't use up my arcane power quite as fast either. And the weapon itself is going to tend to hit for more damage each time you swing. So that's, kind of interesting on that. And what that ends up tying to also is if we head back in here, sorry as I hit a couple of wrong buttons, your critical hit damage. The higher the critical hit damage, of course, the more you do when you do a critical hit. And if the weapon itself already does more to begin with, you're going to hit pretty darn hard. So that is why a lot of people with builds that are going for critical hits like to have big weapons like Scorn. Now my critical hit chance there is at 26%, so I won't get them as often because I don't attack as fast, but when I do, they'll hit pretty darn hard. Now if I go back to that weapon and this offhand and head back into here, we will see that I lowered my critical hit a little bit, but I increased my chance. And that was just the skills on those particular items. So I'm going to have more chance to cause critical hits. I'm going to do them more often because it's a faster cycling, but they won't hit as hard as they would with a Scorn. So it's just one of those things that you can get a feel for. And of course, you can up your critical hit damage by putting a green gem in your weapon slots. And any of your skills and abilities that happen to up that will also, of course, bring that up. So also, now let's head on to defense. Now in defense, one of the most important things in here as you get farther in the game is resistances. People will just call them your resists. And what that is it's a resistance to that particular type of damage. And as you can see, they as they get up there, they can decrease a significant amount of the incoming damage. And that'll let you deal with a fireball that comes flying at you from Diablo, or those cold things that appear on the ground from the elites. And that's in addition to the armor that you have that does this damage reduction, that's just a general chance of that. So fishing around in these advanced stats here will allow you to pull up a whole lot more info about your character and allow you to understand what's going on in the background. So when you have these items that have all these details up on them, like the Slorax Madness does here, it just helps you know that 10% attack speed. Oh, well, okay, I'm going to attack a lot faster, so that's pretty good. So that's going to help me with the builds where I want to try to get as many attacks out as possible. And, This one here also, that's unimportant. The wand finds your death humorous. Whenever I die, it laughs at me. Last but not least, if you scroll way down here to the bottom, it takes a bit to go because you just kind of have to scroll slowly. You'll see at the bottom, there's where you can find your gold find, your magic find, the bonus experience you're getting well, just overall, you can get some per kill. That's a little more common on the early levels. Your gold find, how fast you're moving, all that stuff. That way you don't have to add any of this stuff up off across all of your items. You can just scroll in here and see. And then on the right side, you see the status effects. I happen to have energy armor up right now. It's telling me about it and how much longer it has it available. Since I'm single player, of course, it's paused. But if you had anything else like Nephilim Valor up there or a mantra from a nearby monk, it would tell you what's going on there, and that would help you understand why it is that any of these numbers are higher or lower than you expected. So hopefully you'll take the time to pop in there and learn a little bit about what's going on in this, and that should make you a better player and make you be able to make better decisions about the gear that you do want to hang on to. So if that's something that's real handy to you, go ahead and drop us a subscribe and a like if you would. That'd be great. Any comments in there are always welcome. Any questions? If I have anything wrong, I'm always happy to come in and fix it. And stay tuned for more videos in this series where we try to make you better Diablo players.